Alrighty, today is December 5th, 2015. Getting near the end of the year. Behind 808 North, where are we? 6th. Behind a 1888, very nice house. People had money, judging by the stained glass windows in the front that are original. Anyway, the owners are expanding the house back here, and it looks like we have a brick-lined privy going on, unusually close to the house, and was originally covered over by what looked like perhaps a later addition to the house. Hard to tell. The addition was here on the 1899 map. Whoa! Damn near killed myself. 1899 map, this was covered over by what appeared to be a bathroom. Imagine that. I sent my 5-foot probe down where my shovel is, and right near the handle it felt like it poked through a use layer right about 6-foot level, which should leave a couple of feet of bottles and things. Been at it only a couple hours. Got a late start on it. Actually, I don't think I've been at it for much more than an hour. If I keep standing here gabbing away, I'll be still standing here gabbing away, and I won't be much further along. So I guess I better get to it. Construction guys are supposed to pour cement, although I don't think they're going to hit the center here, but they're going to pour gravel. Either way, I got to get this thing done by tomorrow's end. So, hope to find some goodies for the homeowners. I know they'd be pleased. I'd be happy with one good bottle. One. Yeah, 1888. It could be a Warner Safe Cure in there. Yeah. Okay, well, while Mike, the owner, was back here yakking at me, I pulled out what I had mentioned to him. Looked like a license plate. Turns out it was a 1941 license plate, down at the 5-foot level. I was about ready to cry and quit, when right underneath it, about 3 inches, is this little jewel. I don't know what it is. It looks like a lamp. Like a little miniature night lamp or something. It's got a weird little base to it, round, aqua, very iridescent. I'd say 1800s. Go figure. Under 1941 license plate. That's just too bizarre. So now we'll dig this out and see what's going on. Well, okay. How many times in a day can one be wrong? Wasn't a lamp at all, but a weird little pot. Too small to piss in. Well, I suppose not, but boy, it sure wouldn't hold much. I can't even guess to the age. It's looking like 1941. I don't know. I thought it was iridescent, but I think it's got like paint on the inside or the outside. Hell, I can't tell. Yeah. Something else for the homeowner. Okay, once again, back behind 808 North 6th, Quincy. It is December 6th, Sunday morning, and I'm here to see if there's anything worthwhile to continue on this downward spiral. Even though it's a rectangle, it's a spiral. Yes, mostly 1940s oddball junk mixed with 1890s. So I'm here to figure it out, if that's possible. I'm beginning to think it was an indoor water closet from the beginning. That's the thought. Anyway, thinking is not going to keep the rain away, and it's looking darker as I look. So I gotta get going. It's supposed to rain today. Always something. Alrighty, well, about 2 hours into it, and I'm down about the 8-foot level. About the 6.5-foot level. I actually hit a real 1890s use layer. So it looks like those license plates and most of the 1940s crap was tossed in on top of everything. And then all that clay was brought in and put on top of that. So apparently this thing laid open, because there really isn't anything between 1890 and 1900 and what I'm guessing 1940 or 50s, because those license plates dated 1941 surely wouldn't have been thrown away when they were brand new. So anyway, and I'm just not up on my 1940s, 1950s era glass. Nor will I be anytime soon. Not my cup of tea. Anyway, I've been waiting for a good in situ picture. But so far, well, I got a smattering of bottles. Nothing for me so far. But I got a few cool ones for the property owners. The only whole fruit jar to come out, and there's no writing on it. That's really unusual. Sewing machine oil, an Eddie and Eddie extract bottle, a beer bottle that was reused, repurposed as for bluing, and what did a Foley's honey and tar medicine bottle, a couple of shoe polishes, a couple of unembossed medicines, but mostly turn of the century stuff. So I'm cool with that. Oh, and some odds and ends like this thing. I don't know what that is. I think it's a weird vase for maybe a car or something. It looks oriental in design. Oh, and that thing next to it, it's a buffalo, a pottery buffalo. And a smattering of drinking glasses and a broken milk glass candy dish. I'm still digging up pieces of, so hopefully I'll get enough to glue together. Anyway, that's it after 2 hours. I've hit kind of a clay bottom underneath that layer, but it still goes. So I'm gonna go until I either can't go anymore or till I run out of dirt to go to, which I'll know when I run out of bricks on the wall. That's how you tell you hit the bottom. No more brick liner. Yep. For those of you wondering. Not until I start talking Mandarin. No, that's going to end way before that. Well, almost as if right on cue, here we have an example of an in situ bottle. I thought this was going to be one of those long wine bottles. I think it's a whiskey or a beer. It's a beer. You can tell by the shape of the top. I don't see any embossing on it. It does appear to be whole and undamaged. Full of water, probably rainwater, as was common for a lot of these guys to collect. It always amazes me that the permafrost doesn't ever get down quite this deep and messes them up, but yeah, 1880s, 1890s beer, probably 90s. Got some initials on the bottom that'll likely tell me more information later. In the meantime, we have bottle number 2 down here. Where is he? Yeah. There he is. Hard to see on a cloudy day. This is a pottery, what I'm thinking a pottery jug. Grandpa's sipping jug. Might be Grandma's sipping jug. The ground's pretty soft right here. Oh, it's not a sipping jug. It's like a fruit jar type of thing. Food preserves of some sort. It was probably a wax seal. They'd pour the wax in that groove and then seal a pottery lid on top of it. Anyway, it's kind of interesting looking. It is, it is. I don't know if that's a keeper or not. Not real big into jars. Anyway, first light of day in 100 and some odd years. I'm sure it's happy. I'm sure it's happy to be up with its buddies. Yeah. Well, alrighty, these are the bottles that I still have left from that dig in Quincy some years back, and it was pretty memorable mainly because of a couple of these bottles. We'll just kind of go left or right to left here. This H.G. Farrell's Arabian Liniment from Peoria was pretty cool. Mainly because I'd never dug one up, and I seem to dig up a fair number of liniment bottles, so they're sort of on my cool list to dig up. You know, somebody asks, you know, what do you collect? And it's like, whatever I'm digging up this week, you know, or this year. It seems like it goes by years. One year it's inks, another one's medicines, etc. This bad boy here, with this little metal cap, originally had some like electrical looking wires sticking out of it. And I remember wondering, what the heck is this thing? I posted it on the internet on one of those bottle websites, and it came back as it was a penis pump. I don't know about you, but I mean, this makes me blush. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. It's embossed around the top shoulder, the Erie Medical Company from Buffalo, New York, with sort of a, you know, kind of a funky, almost looks like it's broken at the top, but it's not. I've dug up a couple of these now, and they're all that same way. This one's slightly purpling, which you'd expect from an 1880s, 1890s dig. And I don't know about you, but anything that requires electricity involving this issue, whatever the issue was, I can pretty well guess. I'm not using it. No thanks, I'll watch. I don't even want to watch, never mind. You know what I mean. This bad boy came out of the embankment when I was filling it, you know, actually bringing down the sides of the hole. And Davis Drug Company from Chicago, there's a dump over there in Quincy where I have dug no fewer than 24 broken ones of these. I kept bringing the parts home, the broken pieces and the necks. I think I counted 30 broken necks over some period of time. Finally got a whole one, and this thing literally rolled out of the embankment on me, which was pretty cool. We're going to skip over that guy because he's worth talking about. The mother's friend, you know, this harkens back to my earliest days of digging. I love these bottles that are medicines with the weird names or the funny advertising. The mother's friend, you know, how can you pass that up, huh? I mean, that's like apple pie and baseball and the American flag rolled up into one. You know, that's the only thing that's about missing is a picture of a flag on the back, you know. Not a rare bottle, but shoot, you know. That's right up my alley there. This one, when I dug it up, I knew right away what it was, and there were two broken ones along with the penis pump and then the Veronica mineral waters from Santa Barbara. I suspect this guy actually got on a train and probably went to the West Coast and came around to Denver in search of a cure for his problem. In the pictures there's a broken one of these, Gunwa, and this is one of the later ones. The earlier bottles really look early and crude. This one's pretty well neatly made, tooled top. Gunwa reportedly was an Irish immigrant, and as soon as he landed in New York he headed for Denver, where he set up shop as passed himself off as a Chinese herbalist, and hence the Chinese herb and vegetable remedies bit on the bottle. Apparently he only lasted a short 2 or 3 years and then was indicted for mail fraud, M-A-I-L, not M-A-L-E, but this was supposedly a cure for male impotence. And they chased him around for a bit, and apparently he decided to go back across the pond sometime short after landing here. And you know, how do you pass yourself off as a Chinese herbalist when you're Irish? I don't know. It's just one of those funny ha-ha stories. But anyway, the other part of this dig that was memorable was the fact that I forgot about how Quincy's ordinances for privies was so strict. You couldn't have a privy within 50 feet of a occupied residence unless it was attached to the residence of which it belonged. And I probed all over that yard once before, and they finally started to dig it up and expand it. And a long story short is, the last place I'd expect to look for a privy in that town was right up against the side of the house, which is exactly where it was. And they apparently had a regular outhouse, but they had to nail it against the outside wall of the house, and eventually it got incorporated and became part of the bathroom. And even the owner lady had mentioned it when I probed it out. I was like, wow, this is interesting. She goes, oh, I forgot to mention, when the house was on the home tours, somebody suggested it might have been where the outhouse was. And after 3 hours of probing, I looked at her and I went, really? And you just thought of this now to tell me? But I wouldn't have thought that was a likely spot anyway. So that was an entirely interesting and educational dig all the way around for me. And the 1941 license plate had me going. I was thinking there might be an entire 41 Buick at the bottom of this hole. It was goofy. I mean, it dropped from 1941 era right down into the 1890s, you know, in no time. Nothing in between. It really had me going. Anyway, there you go. It was a fun dig.